So the ideas of these sessions is really to bring back some of the highlights from AU back to the UK without you having to spend hours and hours on a plane or to spend days and days in Las Vegas listening to Autodesk. The size of the AU in Vegas is massive. There's about 10,000 attendees there, and the amount of content is huge. So we can't bring all that back. We can bring back some pertinent points, and that's what we're trying to do today, really. So we have a number of speakers. So as we go through the sessions during the day, I won't go through the names for time's sake, but these guys will be able to bring you insights into not only what was at AU, but also how that can affect what you do day-to-day business-wise. So the whole idea of this is that we can look at trends, we can look at things you should be really looking at that might be influencing your business or your customers or your competitors in the next sort of 1 to 2 years, really. Key takeaways from AU. And really what we're looking at is a short session where we can talk about high-level messages that could be from keynote speeches, they could be from classes that we're given in AU. So interview panel is myself, Wasim and Tim. So before we get those guys on camera, excuse me, I'm a bit flustered, I'm just arranging windows here to see if they're on camera, but what we'll do is we'll start with a short sort of look at AU. So within AU, there's a big stage area, lots of presentations, there's lots of classroom areas, etc., and breakout sessions, but there's also an expo as well. So we have a company, Symetri company in the US called Team D3, and along with Symetri and Team D3, we're a platinum sponsor for Autodesk, and we had around 65 staff attending AU this year, and that really covered the East Coast and West Coast of America and also Europe. Gave us the opportunity to meet customers and to talk to them about their business needs, really what's exciting them at the moment, and also what's causing them problems. As I mentioned before, huge event, 10,000 attendees, but there were 600 sessions, including classes and keynotes, really rich in content, both high level and very, very detailed. So it was a chance to learn from Autodesk, you know, what they're working on, what they see as being the answers to industry challenges and trends. And also it's a great platform for meeting people and to talk to them, network, and see what other people are doing in terms of other companies or other contacts within Autodesk. So with that, let me just stop sharing my screen. And hopefully we should have, has that stopped or not?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I think so.
Yeah. Cool, good. Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Neil.
So, are you both over your jet lag yet? I know it's been a week or so, but
just
eventually. Yeah, we had a bit of an issue on the way back, so we took a bit longer than needed.
Yeah, I heard it was the scenic route, but yeah. So Wasim, I'm gonna start with you. When you first sort of arrive at AU, there's all the pomp and circumstance and the big kickoffs and whatever, but what were the really key points that you thought is an important message to bring back to the UK and bring back to our customers, our companies that we're interacting with?
The biggest one I came up with was the Fusion 360. Obviously, it's been around for a while, and people see it as a CAD tool, but the mission is to make it a complete design to make platform this year. And as a sort of moving forward, they've acquired FlexSim, which is a discrete event simulation software. And they've also made partnership with Cadence, which is like a leading edge electronic system design tool. I mean, they already have a very huge simulation capability, and they are actually developing it and expanding it at a very rapid pace just to get their mission to make it a complete platform for design to make.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting because, you know, look at the amount of time that Autodesk have been developing Fusion, and when it was first released, it was sort of it was almost released as a maker type, hobbyist type platform. But
That's right.
there's more and more content gone into it. And I think, if you open the lid and see what's in Fusion now, it's pretty impressive, the length and breadth of the system and what it can do. And I think certainly it's something that needs looking at as a bit of a disruptor in the sort of, as you say, end-to-end CAD to manufacturing route. So that's interesting. So as a second sort of point, what do you think the effect of the linking with Cadence and Fusion being pushed now as a complete design to make platform? What do you think that effect will have on manufacturing companies using or considering using Autodesk software?
Okay, let's take FlexSim as a first. I mean, this technology will provide an in-depth model analysis, factory layout scenarios, and also process simulation to Autodesk Inventor users, Revit, Construction Cloud, AutoCAD, even Product Design and Manufacturing Collection users. So they'll have access to it. And from the Cadence point of view, that will help to improve collaboration across electronics and mechanical design teams. One example would be if they're just a component in a PCB layout, the changes will dynamically be reflected in the mechanical CAD software and vice versa. So this is an example.
Real-time design scenario.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that would be multidisciplinary as well. So
yes.
Mechanical design and electrical design actually being able to work together in a real-time scenario. Okay,
that's right.
Do you think that will have effect on how companies maybe get products to market, or what do you think? You're from a simulation background, so being able to try things and simulate things before you get to market.
Yes.
Where do you think that will fit?
Well, it will help a great deal. I mean, FlexSim, for example, will provide key links with factory design data, physical and operation data, and this will give them the ability to have for example, a digital representation. Also refers to digital twins, where you can plan and simulate control operations to accurately predict performance, forecast energy consumptions, emissions, and a lot more. And then FlexSim will bring all these capabilities, enabling more informed decisions sooner, helping meet production targets, for example, with precision, and obviously reducing time to market, and obviously with less cost. And if we take Cadence, for example, the seamless introduction or transition between production as a journey from concept to production can be fraught with pitfalls, for example. So Autodesk Fusion capabilities and CAM and CAD merged with Cadence PCB design expertise streamlines this transition. So, for example, manufacturing checks have become a proactive step and not a poor design afterthought. And moreover, catching designer conflicts early on will avoid huge costs, not to mention the potential savings in material costs by optimizing designs for both form and function. So there is a lot of potential to make less errors and faster to market. And that's the whole game of Fusion. It's a digital platform to make it all happen and make it easier.
Yes, yeah. And I think it's sort of blurring the edges now between CAD, CAM, yes, manufacture, production data. So a company should be able to now sort of look at how they can do complete end-to-end design through planning, through manufacture, quality, etc., using Fusion. So it's really interesting. Thanks, Wasim. We'll hear from you later in your session. Tim, thank you for sitting there patiently. We know your interests are very much around efficiency and workflow of data. What are your highlights from AU?
So I think one of the points that Autodesk came back to, they mentioned them last year. They talked about the industry clouds. So there's 3 industry clouds: Fusion, which is for design and manufacturing; Forma, which is architectural; and then Flow, which is media and entertainment. So they came back to them this year, and they were mentioned a lot, Mainstage, which to me seems really good. They're still investing in data. They're driving forward with the plans that they made last year. So it's not onto a new set of plans. It's very much continuation of the things they started at AU last year. So that was really good, really good. I like that commitment from Autodesk that they were driving this forward.
Okay. If let's put something to you this way. If you were a director or a CEO of a company, what should you know about? What should your teams bring to you so that you can maybe look at how you put your 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year business plan in place? Because having heads up on this is really important to be able to plan for the future, not only in terms of internal investment, but is there anything that's going to disrupt the market? Is there anything that's going to disrupt, you know, the input of profit or flow of work into that company?
Yeah, so for me, again, from the data side of things, it's all about connected data. That you know, the buzzword was used quite a lot, but it really has a real strong practical value for our customers and for customers. It's the idea of connecting the data. So you know, one idea was mentioned that maybe we could go from Inventor to Revit, and we could use the cloud information to, you know, to get from one method to another, and it's all about connecting the data together, and so that was very exciting from my point of view.
Right, okay, that's cool. So I guess the answer is probably going to be data, because there's a theme here. But you know, ideal world, if time and budget, you didn't have those constraints, what path would you follow to get a maximum return on not an investment, but improvement and future proofing of an organization?
So again, it is data. Data's at the heart of everything. You know, for me, it would be there's got to be some kind of housekeeping goes on with organizations. You know, data's only good as long as it's good data. And so for me, it's making sure that your data's in order. You know, making sure that it's accurate, making sure that it's connected, so that then you can use the technology and the software and the opportunities that you have coming up. If it's the wrong data or you don't have enough, then you know it's not a great place to start. It's not a good base to build an organization on. So getting that data right, you know, getting the housekeeping right around data input, quality of data, that's really what every organization's got to have, you know, as their takeaway or their start from this.
Yeah. So that's the route map, is to look at what data they've got and how that can be future-proofed, safeguarded, and used in a smart way.
Yeah, indeed. We don't know how data is going to be used in the future, and the way that data is being used within organizations is changing. So, you know, you've really got to make sure that you can rely on the data that you have in your organization and take it forward.
Yes, yeah, okay. So thank you for that, Tim. Really appreciate your input on that. We should have a third panel member with us this morning, but unfortunately she can't make it, but she will make it later on this afternoon. So Shivani Soni should be with us today. However, I did ask Wasim and Tim to sort of find out what her takeouts were, and she has a very different, not a very different view on life, a slightly different view on her speciality around sustainability and everything that is really the new world and moving forward, and this sustainable approach to design and innovation. So I know you spoke to Shivani about this. Do you, Wasim, do you have a point from Shivani that she maybe shared with you?
Yes, so I mean, considering Shivani's passion for sustainability, the spotlight on the phrase sustainability is no longer an afterthought was undoubtedly something that resonated with her. The emphasis on integrating sustainability into design and manufacturing processes aligns perfectly with her values. So yes, to blur the lines, as she would say.
Yes, yeah. And I think the sustainability terms are, we throw that word around a lot, but it means a lot of things to a lot of people. Tim, do you have an input on Shivani's thoughts?
Yeah, I think not just Shivani's thoughts, but it echoes for all of us. Autodesk released this thing called Autodesk AI, which is their version of, you know, bringing the AI vision to all of us. So it's going to be really interesting how it's going to power design, you know, transform the create process. So that's going to be really good, you know. And I know she's very enthusiastic about that, and you know, aligning those kind of those ideas for innovation, design, and make and build as we move forward, and just to see where they go and you know what the possibilities are.
Yes, yeah, that's really interesting. I saw a post yesterday on LinkedIn from one of the Autodesk guys that was, I think it was Steve Bedder, that was at Autodesk, and it's the Pandora's box of AI is well and truly open, and it's not going back in. So something's going to happen about AI, and I think it's really how it develops into systems and gives us sensible options for creating design, or maybe handling data, or whatever the application is for it. So if you look at some sort of key questions based on Shivani's expertise and interests, what do you think we should consider moving forward? Wasim, that was a question I sort of put to you to ask Shivani, so we've got time for maybe just this one answer, and then we'll hand over to the next session.
Well, from Shivani's perspective, one of the key highlights was the emphasis on integrating sustainability into the design and manufacturing. The industry is moving towards a future where sustainability is not just an afterthought, but a core consideration in every step. So there's a lot of detail going into it. The commitment to net zero and reducing carbon footprint is not only a moral imperative, but also a strategic move for companies looking to remain not only competitive, but to be able to be part of a sustainable supply chain and making sure they can provide product that is environmentally good, or with great or environmental credentials.
Yes, yeah. I was on a meeting yesterday with a customer, and they were saying that they produce plastic pharmaceutical type products, and they were saying that the amount of sustainability mandates that are being handed down to them now is getting vast, and material choices, down to energy consumption of manufacturing processes. There's a lot to consider there. So I think this is a big area that we need to be able to help people with.
Absolutely.
Which is why you need to be in our session later on, Neil, and we can tell you all about it.
You've stolen my thunder, Tim. I was going to give you a plug. Okay, so thank you, gentlemen. Really appreciate your input on that. We're just about ready to introduce Cheryl and Craig to have a look at some of AI and automation, which hopefully will be a really interesting session to everybody. Please stick with the sessions. There's a lot of content today. Hopefully we're going to leave you with some questions. More questions are good, and if we can leave you with some doubts and maybe some things that you need to discuss, then we've done a good job.